What's going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chunky! I didn't say.
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great night so far. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, a great holiday weekend. Yeah, it is Sunday night. It feels weird because it's a 3-day weekend. It doesn't really feel like Sunday, but it is. Hope you guys had a great Sunday. All right. Hope your NFL teams won. Mine didn't. All right. You guys aren't here to hear me ramble about the NFL, so let's watch some court. I've got some court. Now, usually on weekends I dive through my vault because there's only one or two courts that are open on the weekends. And I generally take the weekend off of watching courts besides, going through my own videos. So we got a random collection of court cases tonight. Yeah, we're literally jumping everywhere. There's no rhyme or reason to any of these cases. They're all entertaining. Some of them are a month old, some of them are 2 weeks old, some of them happened last week. I don't know. But I hope you haven't seen them so we can all enjoy them together. Well, we still will even if you've seen them. All right, I'm rambling. It's time to play. Talking in circles. All right, before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick back flips. Let's go.
Come on up and take a seat. What's that? No, it will not. Thank you. So, Mr. Blacksmith, looks like an order was entered a while ago,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you're asking to renew the order.
Yes, sir.
And this is a neighbor of yours, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. He's shaking his head no.
He lives
So-
approximately 500 and some odd feet from my house, Your Honor. So
Quarter mile, Your Honor.
Okay, so hang on, I heard, as I said to other people, if two people are talking to me, I'm not gonna be able to understand either one. So Mr. Vernon, I promise I'll give you a chance to respond, but I'm gonna swear in Mr. I asked those questions before I swore him in, and I'm gonna swear him in now, and then I'm gonna ask him why he thinks the order should be renewed. Then I'll give you a chance to tell me why you think
Thank you.
not.
Thank you.
So Mr. Blacksmith, can you raise your right hand, please?
yes, sir.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead. Why should this order be renewed, reissued?
Okay, let me get to my paperwork here. I'm waiting for the page to load on here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay. My apologies, Your Honor. I'm trying to get my computer figured out here. The seriousness of Michael Vernon's aggressive behavior and threats of violence prior to the issuance of this protection order, his continued harassment and unchanged hostility towards me merit a renewal of the court's finding that he is a credible threat and should be ordered to stay away from me and my residence indefinitely. I want the renewed order to stay in place permanently. Let's see here. Michael Vernon, the respondent, has continued to harass me by displaying signs on his house and property containing threatening statements designed to intimidate me and malicious and defamatory statements about myself and my wife, Exhibit 1. And in Exhibit 1, I have some of the photographs that have been taken of his home and the signs. The respondent has also slandered me to my neighbors, and in Exhibit 2, I have a statement from one of my neighbors who had actually spoken directly with Mr. Vernon. I believe that the respondent.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. The IBF guy? I don't even know what IBF means. Are you saying that Mike played this clip or he's a part of another clip? Because I don't know what IBF is.
Displays these signs because he is, one, fixated on me, two, hopes to provoke me into some kind of altercation, 3, seeks to punish me for obtaining a protection order, and 4, lacks self-control. The respondent's behavior demonstrates an unchanged attitude towards me that is concerning, given his history of unprovoked physical attacks and threats of gun violence. I have not driven by the respondent's house for an entire year, going well out of my way to avoid any conflict. Yet he still bears a grudge, which shows the respondent is incapable of change on his own and needs the guardrails of the court in order to keep him from engaging in foolish and aggressive behavior that could end tragically for everyone. Past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. With the background information, as a reminder, the respondent engaged in 2 unprovoked acts of first aggression against me on July 21st, 2023.
Is that why everyone keeps making the joke? He needs to say that he has IBS as his defense. Is that coming from Mike's channel? It's been going on for weeks, and I have not understood the joke. I haven't been over to Mike's channel, but maybe once or twice in the last month. I just haven't had time. So now I think I actually understand the joke. But is that this clip, or is that a different clip? But now I'm glad I'm in on the joke.
While I was driving my 3-wheeled motorcycle on the street, public right-of-way near his house, including forcible restraint, assault, threats of violence, and gun violence, hate speech, and an attempt to disarm me. The respondent's rationale for the attack stemmed from his irrational belief that I was speeding past his house, despite his lack of formal training and ability to measure my speed, and decision to take the law into his own hands. On September 22nd, 2023, the respondent engaged in 2 more instances of unprovoked aggression against me using his vehicle. The first time he drove by and verbally harassed me and my visiting friends while I was in my front yard. Later that day, he repeated his behavior and attempted to assault me with his vehicle. For my part, I called law enforcement both times. Responding deputy on 7/21/2023 told the respondent it was not his job to enforce the speed limit. I had the option to press charges, but allowed the respondent to apologize instead. However, I was forced to obtain a protection order after the other 2 incidents on 9/22/2024 made it clear that the respondent was dangerous, mentally unstable, and would continue his harassing behavior. The fact that he came to my house was a clear escalation. The respondent admitted to the 4 incidents in court on November 6, 2023, although he made excuses for his behavior. The judge concluded that the respondent's claim I was speeding was not credible given the short distance between intersections and his lack of training, and told the respondent his actions were foolish. And in fact, the judge had called Mr. Vernum directly, said that he was foolish and that his actions were foolish. Let's see here. The judge concluded the respondent's claim I was speeding was not credible. Okay, I said that. His sign harassment campaign started in earnest about a month later and has continued until present. Throughout this process, I have learned that the respondent has a history of 1, threatening and bullying people in the neighborhood, see written statements submitted with original petition, and 2, harassment, May 5th, 2005, Tumwater Municipal Court, offense code 9.16.120, case number, and then big old long case number after it, which you have there probably.
Hey, Ed. Yeah, I was hanging out with K4 today. I think it's hilarious that he blocked out my entire picture. He gave me, what's the name? Steve. I was Steve. I was his source. And when I gave it to him, I told him just to black out my last name. I didn't ask him to block out the entire thing, but maybe I didn't say that clearly. But so he gave me I was Steve the fish, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, no, it was fun hanging out with K4 today.
With you. And I'd like to read the impact of harassment on the petitioner. Even though I have every right to walk or drive down the public road in front of the respondent's house and do so unmolested, I haven't walked or ridden my motorcycle in my neighborhood for a year because I don't feel safe. And in fact, I've not ridden my motorcycle since the last incident that had occurred. Let's see here. I haven't because I don't feel safe. In the interest of avoiding conflict, I have also consistently bypassed the respondent's house when driving and have taken a less convenient alternate route for the past year. Imagine having to give up your enjoyable activities and walk on eggshells in your own neighborhood because your neighbor is harassing you. To feel safer in my own home, I just purchased an expensive $4,500 security gate for my driveway. Yet the signs remain up and the respondent eagerly spreads lies about me in my neighborhood. My quality life has been diminished by this continued harassment. In addition to this very real physical danger posed by the respondent's hostility towards me, which disrupts my peace and makes me feel unsafe in my own home and neighborhood, The situation has caused me to suffer from anxiety, insomnia, and nightmares. These conditions have been greatly aggravated by the prospect of the court not renewing this protection order because I perceive the respondent is still a threat and believe that he will resume his unlawful behavior of trying to assault me if a renewal is not granted. And then I have my exhibit list. The first one, the first exhibit that I have, the first 5 photos were taken on 12/8/2023. 1/26/2024 and 1/28/2024 respectively, and provided to me by concerned neighbors. The last 2 photos were taken by my wife on 10/2/2024 and 10/4/2024. Below, I've summarized what the signs mean in the context of the respondent's past comments and provided other details that might be helpful to the court. First one, we have a coward from Desert Storm on the hood on Gregory.
You don't need to repeat those. I could see the picture.
Thank you.
And those are the
Honor.
ones that were up in October?
They were up in October, and they'd actually been up for quite a while. He did put up other signs as well, but my neighbors didn't stop and take pictures of all of them. In fact, at one point, I had told people, don't put yourself in any danger by taking pictures of the Mr. Vernum's home. Don't engage with them. I want him to be left alone. Yeah, and some of the signs, I'm aware of some of what they said, some of the signs that he had up that I don't have pictures of. At one point, he had a sign up that had said, where's Benedict Arnold, alluding to why I've not, been in his neck of the neighborhood. Well, I've been respecting his space and leaving him alone, and I don't want to anger him by driving in front of his house.
Let me hear from, again, I reviewed, you repeated a lot what was filed. Let me hear, I'm going to swear in Mr. Vernum, and then I'm going to hear from him, and then I'll make a decision as to whether or not the order will be extended for a year. So could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah, I kept meaning to put a watermark up for some time now, but because of certain events that have happened over the last couple of weeks, someone using my content, and it's not the content that I care about. It's take my voice out of it. If you're gonna use the video, fine. I don't care about that. Just take my voice out of it and don't pretend you're me. That's the only thing I care about. So that's why the watermark's there. It's something I wanted to add months ago. I put things on a list of things to do, and when it comes to the weekend, when I'm supposed to do all the busy work, I usually just play video games. So a lot of things don't get done as quickly as it needs to, but that's why the watermark's there.
And you can stay on keep your camera activated there, Mr. Blacksmith. You can put your hand down. And so, so he's asking to extend the order for a year. What's your position on that?
Well, everything he just said was a lie. I haven't seen this guy. Well, this is the first time I've seen him since a year ago, November 6th in court on video.
Right.
Like I told Judge Buckley back in 6 when I was asked about why I put signs up like this. It's called the First Amendment.
No, I know.
And Judge Buckley said he wasn't going there. I had neighbors that lied about my dog and they had it murdered. So I made signs calling them all kinds of names.
Right.
This guy says I threatened him with a gun, Your Honor. I didn't have a gun. He had the gun on him.
Okay, so you don't need to raise your voice at me. I'm right here.
Sorry.
Okay.
But Judge Hoopman or whoever it was a year ago would not read what my 2 neighbors saw him doing. When Sybil said that she was scared he was going to shoot me with his gun, I backed off like this. I can't raise my right arm because my right shoulder's gone. My left hand's broke. I can't make a fist. This is the best I can make a fist. Okay. And my signs are none of them have his name on them. None of them have his address on them. I'm doing my First Amendment.
Right.
Now, the thing that started this is when Israel was invaded October 7th of last year. I have a good friend that was a judge here 20 years ago, 18 years ago, who was Jewish. I have a brother that I call my big brother who's dead now. He was Green Beret and he was Jewish. This Israel sign was put up. And I put my dead brother's flag down that said, kill them all, let God sort them out, referring to Israel.
Okay, so I'm not.
Well, he came after me for this Israel sign and to kill them all, let God sort them out.
Just a minute, just
you know, you said you haven't seen him for a year.
I've never seen him.
Okay, then I guess what's the issue with extending the order? I mean, wouldn't you guys want to stay apart from each other? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
I don't want an order on me. I'm due for 2 operations. They just found out a week ago, the day I got this thing served to me.
Right.
I have a thing in my aorta, one of those aneurysm things.
Okay.
I have to have my nose broke here next month because it got broke 12 years ago when I passed out from dehydration and broke it. I can't breathe out of it. Plus, I want my gun rights back. You guys took 2 guns. One was my son's, one was my daughter's. I didn't know these 2 guns were in my house until 2 years ago when we removed my gun safe and they were making noise in them. My guns have been out of my house since 1990. This is a lot of stress on me for something I didn't do. I wish the court would read what my neighbors said that they saw that day. On June 22nd of 2023 at 10:07 in the morning. I went down to his house September 21st, but I didn't know that was his house because some kid stopped in the car and it turned out being his son, and he was throwing garbage in my driveway. Now, Lieutenant Tarver, who used to be a sheriff at this place, and I think he's dead now, was one of my neighbors. And he always told us the way to handle the speeders that we have is get a license number and an address and try to talk to them. This guy was doing 50, 60 miles an hour in a residential neighborhood, and all I wanted him to do was slow down. We've had 3 kids hit in front of my house in 45 years, and it's not pretty watching a kid bounce off a bumper and hit the asphalt. I did not threaten this man with a 44 Magnum. I said you made my day because 22 years ago, 2 GIs pulled a gun on me down in the neighborhood because they were speeding and throwing beer cans all over the road, and they paid for it. But I never threatened them.
Did you have something you want me to read?
Yes, sir, I do.
Could you hand it forward, please?
May I come up?
Yes.
There's 2 pages from 2 different of my neighbors.
All right. Give me just a moment.
Yes, sir.
All right, while the judge is reading this, again, thank you so much for the raid, my friend. I do appreciate it. I cannot wait to go back and finish watching that I'm gonna say that outlandish lady that doesn't understand what theft means. But Bacon, thank you for the raid. Welcome to all the raiders. Please hit that like button on your way in. I would appreciate it. You haven't really missed a ton. Apparently, this is the IBS guy from Law Talk with Mike. I haven't seen that clip, but now I need to go back and find it. If someone has the link to that video, I want to see it because it sounds hilarious, and everyone keeps making the joke, and I'm not in on the joke. I don't like being on the outside of the jokes. The one that was stealing from Walmart on Biggin's video. That she stole a purse and panties. She was causing a really big scene. That one.
So I've reviewed this. Did you want this to go into the court file?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can.
Your Honor, I have 2
Okay.
kids.
So hang on just a second. Just a second, okay? This is a pretty simple thing here we're asking.
Yeah, I
right?
understand that.
And whether this order that's been in place for a year is going to continue for another year and all of that. That's the only thing I'm here for right now. And so I've reviewed that. You know, I've listened to you speak. I've listened to Mr. Blacksmith, and I'm sorry to hear about your health issues. Sounds like that's a
My
serious
daughter
thing.
was murdered. My son killed himself. Okay, that's why I have health issues.
Okay.
I don't even
Okay.
go to my children's cross that was put up in the neighborhood because of the threat of him calling. He called the cops on me on January 20th for riding my bike at nighttime in the rain, which I don't ride. My hand's broke. I can't ride my bike. I haven't rode it since 15. He keeps calling the cops on me. I got a neighbor that does it. He doesn't like my signs. He says it depreciates his house. There's Muslims down the road. Those garage
Okay,
doors.
so I know
I know it.
That doesn't matter. Okay, it just doesn't matter. I mean, those signs, and I don't, you're right, you have a First Amendment right to do
I'm
that.
not bothering him. I don't talk to him. I haven't seen him. I don't call him. I don't know his number. I just want my freedom back.
He read a few of them off. They were distasteful in nature. You don't want to see what he was writing on the signs in your neighborhood, but wasn't anything illegal about them. I'm not going to repeat what some of them wrote. What was that didn't make any sense. I'm not going to repeat what the one that they did read off in court, but it wasn't very tasteful. He stays calm though. At the end of the hearing, the defendant says something as he walks out, and the this guy on screen. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. We'll watch it together. It's coming. Thank you. I appreciate it. That was the email I just received. I just heard my email go off. I'll check that out.
Mr. Blacksmith, he said, I mean, he says you've called the police on him several times. Is that accurate? Not, or why?
I called the police on him during the first incident, the first couple of incidents, and then 2 times when we drove by with this car, made contact with me in front of my home.
And what do you do at that point?
Well, when he got when 911 was dialed by one of the bystanders, that's when he got angry, sped down the road, lost control of his vehicle, went into one of the neighbors' yards, restarted it back up after he stalled it. It went into another neighbor's yard, and then he drove up the side the 15-foot right of way. And it was my belief he was going to strike me with his vehicle.
When did that happen?
That was the very last incident that I had read off on paperwork right there.
I know, but what was that before or after the order was entered?
That was before the order was entered. Yeah. Since the order has been entered, I've only I only called the police once on him, and that's he drove by on his motorcycle and revved his engine really hard. It was relatively harmless, other than documenting it for court purposes. I called the police so that I had a record. We looked at the video. The police looked at the video. It was indeterminate if it was Mr. Vernum, but his bike does have a unique note to it, and he most certainly is not telling the truth when he said he does not ride his motorcycle. In fact, one of my neighbors, just before he got restationed in Indiana, had seen him pulling into his parking lot on his motorcycle. So Mr. Vernum is not exactly telling the truth. He does occasionally ride his motorcycle.
I'll allow you to respond to that.
Your Honor, I haven't rode my bike since they found me almost dead in my house in 12/21. I blew the shoulder out on 6 when somebody hit me on my bike, and it looked like they were going to total me out. So I stood up on my stirrup and I put my body between the car and my bike, and my shoulder took it. I can't do much more than this with my arm. I ride my bike to the gas station. periodically to put fuel in it. That night, the sheriff called me on January 20th or the 22nd, a little after 9, and started asking me if I was riding my bike. I said, no, deputy, but you can come over here and touch my bike and see if it's cold or hot. He never showed up. This guy tried shooting me with his gun, Your Honor. And now he's trying to say that I'm the one that threatened him with a gun. I would never threaten anybody with a gun. And I'll tell you how. In 1990, on March 26th, my kid's mother got tied up with a felon. He talked her into kicking me out for molesting my children and sexual abuse to her. 2 weeks later, I was given my kids back. I won custody of them January 8th, and they were kidnapped by their mother and this man. My boy was dumped off on the street, and my daughter was taken. We didn't see her for 3.5 months. I raised my kids. 10 years, 8 months later, my daughter was butchered down the road from the house, stabbed 19 times. It was horrifying. And my son killed himself shortly after that because the mother was not allowed to go to the funeral and she never went to his. Now, I've had problems, but I'm not a psycho. I don't bother people. And I think my letters my neighbors gave you will instigate that, tell you that. I don't bother nobody. We've had problems with speeders in our neighborhood for a long time. And when I drove the car down there on September 21st of 23, it was to get a license number. And he yelled out 4 times when he saw it was me, "How are your dead children?" That's why I drove up on those neighbors' lawn, because I was puking in a Walmart bag because he said that. And I went home and I've never been back to that part of the neighborhood since. I don't go visit any of my friends. I stay on my end of the neighborhood. This guy's trying to keep me in trouble. I know what restraining orders are and what they do.
You're not in trouble. You said that there was a cross you're not able to visit. Where is it?
Pardon?
You said, I thought I heard you say there was a cross that you were not able to visit.
Yeah, the kids put cross up for where my daughter was butchered, and then they put my
Okay,
son's
so
name.
where is that?
Well, when you go where my street is,
Okay.
9th Way,
No, let's assume for the moment, I'm not familiar with the neighborhood.
it's a quarter mile away from his house.
Okay, so Mr. Blacksmith, are you aware of this cross? Do you know what he's talking about?
I am, Your Honor. And in fact, the cross is not on the same street that I'm at.
Okay. So
Instead
hang
of
on just a
taking-
minute, just a minute. Can he visit this cross without violating the order as it stands now?
Yes.
Absolutely, Your Honor, you can.
Yeah,
But people that have orders like he has on me, if he would have been driving out of the other entrance of the neighborhood, he would have been calling you people.
okay,
This is what I want to prevent.
okay.
I don't want to die right now.
So, okay, Mr. Vernum, here's going to be my ruling in this case, okay? So I've heard you speak, I've listened to your testimony, I've read you what you reviewed, which was apparently pertinent to the original order that was entered. That order was entered. The only thing in front of me here today is whether or not this order is going to be extended for another year. And based on everything I've heard, the testimony, I'm going to grant the order. I'm going to grant the request. It's going to be ordered it's going to continue for another year.
Well, then
Let
you
me-
might as well throw me in jail right now, because I'm not going to go another year of this kind of stuff.
Okay, so hang on just a minute. I'm not going to throw you in jail right now.
No, I'll drive by his house when I go home.
Okay, so,
I'm not putting up with this no more, Your Honor. Judge Buckley says I have the right
Right.
to express my First Amendment right, and that's what I'm doing.
you do.
I don't have no signs with his name on it.
Okay.
None.
Okay,
I haven't been to that part of the neighborhood at all.
so if you want a copy of the renewal order, you can have it, but that'll conclude the hearing for today, or you can
So
get a
you're
copy
gonna
of it.
do this to me again.
I didn't do it. I'm not doing anything.
What did
to you.
I do wrong? I haven't visited this guy. I don't have a cell phone. I don't even know his number.
Okay.
Why are you doing this to me again?
Okay.
I have to go in for an operation, and now I'm gonna cancel it today when I go home.
Okay, well, I don't think you should need to do that or should
Well,
want to do
I'm not
that.
gonna live this way anymore.
Okay, well,
So
you know,
call your deputies and have them follow me home, because I'm going to his house. This is wrong, Judge.
okay,
Judge Buckley wouldn't have done this to me.
okay. You can take that if you want it and you're free to go.
Your Honor, is there
You're free to
something I
leave the
should
Zoom
do?
call. What's that?
Is there something I should be doing if he's gonna show up at my door?
I'm not gonna, I'm not really in position to give you advice. You asked me to extend the order, I did, and then, you saw his reaction. And, we'll see where we're at. But I can't
I understand, Your Honor. I understand.
I can't give you advice.
I'm just frustrated. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're free to leave the Zoom call.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Yeah, that just happened. Yeah, and the judge could have. Sorry, got a little tongue tied. The judge could have given not advice, just hey, if you think that's a credible threat, you can call the police. You can have them do a sweep by your house here in about 20 minutes. He could have said that. I don't think the judge actually believed that what that dude was saying though. I don't know, but probably there should have been some words after the guy said that. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Now we're gonna follow you home. Congratulations. Something like that. I don't know. Something to try to deter him from immediately breaking the protection order that was just granted. All right, let's move on. I have no idea what's next, guys. Like I said, this is a complete random bunch of clips from the last month. So, all right, let's go.
Gentleman right here. Okay.
Judge Garcia, San Antonio. I think this is the guy that has like a fake charity.
Okay, so real quick here, and what is this lease for? Because it doesn't mention anything about Furlong Drive. This is, or the address you're trying to get back into?
No, I'm not trying to, ma'am. I own and operate Serva Living Homes. I started a business with sir named Oscar, who claimed to be investor of real estate. I signed the lease to use that property to help people who are struggling with drug addiction and other mental issues. I myself am a certified peer recovery coach. So, the
But
business
we're talking about Furlong Drive.
no, ma'am, we're talking about Hastings. It's
Hastings,
the one
okay.
on the lease.
Got you.
I reside at Furlong.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, talk to me.
For correspondence, yes. So we made the agreement back in May, with full explanation that you're helping people get on their feet. So the progression of people actually starting to pay, rent will take a while. And there's also high turnover because you're dealing with people with substance abuse. So they had that understanding. So they was getting the rent and so they were getting paid. But we also had dips in vacancies, which is normal in this kind of business. So the agreement was a percentage of revenue. It wasn't a stated amount. But I held him accountable to the things that were wrong with the house. We had no AC for 10 days. We had a plumbing issue. We had rodents. We had bed bugs. All of this decided.
Look this up.
Yeah, this is a landlord-tenant case. Doesn't look like the landlord's there. Maybe they're on the phone and their camera's just not on. I don't know. But I don't know if you guys heard what this guy just said. He said, we don't have a set lease because I run this charity, this foundation that helps recovering addicts. So we pay rent based on how many people are in the home. Yeah, it's not going to work that way, man. I can't see anybody agreeing to that. I'm sorry. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe that is how charities work, and in those kind of situations, that just doesn't make sense. If you're running the charity, you're accepting some money, when someone can pay, but the landlord's still getting paid.
Can you look that up?
So, I mean, the full mountain of evidence is on here, just not.
Well, I can't put that drive into the.
No. I'm just saying for the civil suit. This
Okay.
is, right now, what I'm trying to do is go and get my property.
Okay,
the stuff
so
that
they
I
have
own.
physically locked you out right now.
Yes, they changed the locks
Okay,
and
so-
they have installed my own old employee, Mike Hammond, as this. They started a whole new business name, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. I just wanted to get my stuff. But as far as a civil judgment,
Yeah.
there's obviously less revenue and everything that comes with.
Do you
that
know if there's an eviction on you?
No, there isn't.
No, okay.
That's the whole point. They've just been using intimidation threats. They said there was a Oscar, I'll show you this. Paying attention to, so Martha named in there is supposedly the actual owner, so he never owned the place to begin with. So I'm not even sure if that lease was, so I feel like there was some, what's it called? Just trade practices, deceptive trade practice involved.
Nothing? Okay.
And so I have, I don't know, a whole.
So this
gallery
might have
of-
started bad from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the back of that, Your Honor, there is a list of the things I would like to go in and
Okay.
acquire.
So on your case,
Big
hold on.
concern.
On your case, you filed a writ of re-entry, not a not a writ of retrieval. Okay, so hold on, let me finish. The writ of re-entry, all the officers are gonna do is open the door and you do what you need. You got access to that house. All the constables do is open the door so that you can have access.
Okay.
That's what you filed. Now, a writ of retrieval is so that an officer can go in and escort you so that you can get specific things and get out.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? Because right now I have a writ of re-entry in front of me, which means this list does me no good because all the constables are going to do is open the door. You do whatever you want at that point. Because I have an active lease that you're still under until December.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you want me to dismiss this and you want to go refile for a writ of retrieval to get certain items, then I need to contact the plaintiff and get everybody involved
For retrieval?
for a retrieval.
Okay.
So
Well,
what do you
no,
want to do? Do you want the reentry or the retrieval?
We'll start with reentry.
The reentry. Okay.
Start with reentry.
All right. And I do have a lease. I do have your signature on this. What,
Oh,
your-
here's the second part. Sorry. I don't know if I didn't get that. That's
okay,
the
are
second
you
part.
Apex or
No.
narrow
I'm
path
narrow
silver?
path, ma'am. I'm narrow path silver living.
And is that your signature on here?
Yes, ma'am.
What is this?
That's the second half of that lease document.
Okay. Okay, and where is there proof that you are narrow path? Because I can come in here and say I represent narrow path and get me into this house.
Yes, ma'am. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, give me some connection of you and narrow path.
Yeah, this is when it starts going downhill for this guy. Things are just not going to add up the way that he thinks they are.
And it's correspondence between myself and Mr. Genera. And that's
Okay, yeah, but there's
certified
just a
mail. No, I
certification.
know. I understand.
Where is your name associated to narrow path
On which document?
on any document? Because I have a lease that's saying narrow path is occupying this building. Wait, how are you narrow path? Prove to me that you're narrow path.
As a tenant or as an individual?
As an individual anyway, any shape, way, or form. Because I have a lease right now that says Apex and narrow path. Okay, what makes you think that guy sitting in the back doesn't represent narrow path? Or what makes you think my bailiff can't come in and say, I represent narrow path, open the door up for me? How do you connect with narrow path so that I can open the door for you? Explain that to me. You have to prove that to me.
Okay.
I'm not just gonna go open up a random house for you to go in and do whatever you want because you have a lease stating that you represent this company. Where is your connection to you in this company?
I'm the founder.
Prove it to me.
Okay.
Where are you the founder?
That's fine.
That's what I'm trying to ask you.
No, I understand.
I have this certification, but it doesn't have your name on it.
No, I understand what.
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay.
There's other documentation.
Okay, go ahead and give it to me.
You guys are killing me. We all represent narrow path. We're all CEOs, all of us. I don't want to go into that house though. You guys can have fun. I'm staying out of it. They said bed bugs and roaches. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. The roaches wouldn't bother me just as entry, but I wouldn't go in with bed bugs. Nope.
EIN letter or no?
Whatever you want to show me, I don't know.
Okay, I'm just trying to, this is like different documents and filings, so I'm like,
Cassie, I'll tell you that sometimes YouTube does glitch like that. It happens every once in a while. I'll see someone that it'll say that they're a new member, and then an hour later they'll be able to send a new milestone that says how the correct amount of months. It's actually happened to me on Biggins' channel and another channel within the last week. I hit a milestone and hit I said the milestone and it said I was a new member instead of I think it's 15 months. And then tonight, I randomly saw I had another milestone for 15 months. So that didn't make any sense. YouTube is just glitchy sometimes. But I do appreciate you hanging out. And thanks for the milestones.
so my name being listed in the letter with my ID and my signature don't match?
But what do you mean? Because I have
Well, I'm citing
I
my
have this.
physical proof of me
I
and
have
my
this
name's
leak.
cited.
Yes. Okay. Narrow path. You gonna tell me you make out what that name says? Because I can't. It's
No,
a
I-
signature.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
But it's
so-
cited in the cease and desist letter that obviously shows proof that there was a correspondence between narrow path. In there, I'm being cited as the person responsible for narrow path. And here's my identification right here.
Let me see. Well, this just says it has come to my attention that your name has been unauthorized exterior joint ventures to further the narrow path sober living contractual agreement. It doesn't say you're the founder, it doesn't say that you're the owner. It just says that you have made unauthorized joint ventures.
Okay. Let me see.
And the financial investor for the creation of narrow path sober living in all customer relations management. Again, it doesn't mention anything about your name, nothing on here.
Okay, I apologize, Your Honor. I thought this would have been quite seamless, so I'm trying to dig up.
Well,
No,
it's
I-
kind of, I mean, we have to go by, I can't just be opening doors for
No,
everybody.
I
so,
understand, Your Honor.
that's
I'm
why we
sorry.
do
I
make it a
apologize
little-
for taking up the court's
No,
time.
no, you're-
Problem I'm
Short answer, yes, but long answer, no. The entire community helped her. It wasn't just me. I was just in the right place at the right time. But yes, I was that person sitting in court. I am that Colin.
having is that the file that you see.
So we can do one of two things. I can reset it for tomorrow
Okay,
so that you can get some paperwork, because I have a 3 o'clock docket
yes,
that I
ma'am.
need
Yes,
to
ma'am. Let's
to
do that.
address. So I'm gonna reset this. You want me to do it tomorrow or Friday?
Tomorrow's Wednesday?
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
Okay,
I'll
so
come
we're
back
gonna
tomorrow.
reset this for Wednesday. I'm gonna do it for 1:30. Okay,
1:30?
yes, have a seat right here on the side. My clerk is going to announce your notice is setting right now, and now
Okay,
that you're
thank-
here.
Thank you.
Actually, if you can just print that out and then, the other one. Okay, you can bring it to 3 o'clock. You ready? No, bring them in, bring them in. I don't got time to wait. Anybody wants to get out of here? Yeah. let me-
In which
I'm
case,
gonna-
Your Honor, if I'm coming back tomorrow, can I just change it to retrieval?
Can you change it to what?
Retrieval?
Well, if you change it to retrieval, you won't be back tomorrow.
Understood.
Because I have to notify them and everything
Understood.
else, so.
Understood.
But just have a seat right here. She's gonna get you
Oh.
your notice to vacate. I mean,
Oh.
your notice to set it.
Thank you.
All right. Ruth, I see your questions. I'll give you guys a quick recap on what's going on with Haley. Let me grab these membership milestones real quick. You know what? I'm just going to grab them all. Erica, I think I already said thank you to you, but I'm just going to grab them all since I just think I just got 4 right back to back. Erica, thank you so much for your 8 months. You are awesome. C-Dumps, 9 months. Thank you so much, C-Dumps. Johnny May, my Colin membership has reached full term in 9 months. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it, bud. And Lexa, good to see you, Lexa. And thank you also for the 9 months. You guys are awesome. Okay. I thought there was another one. Maybe I'm maybe I don't know. Anyways, real quick on the Haley case, she is still going through court. I think Ruth asked. She's still going through court. Her last hearing was not on YouTube. It was a week ago this past Friday, and they had to adjourn it again because there was a problem with the escrow. The escrow wasn't released until the day before the court hearing. So Haley went into that court hearing with a balance still. So the judge adjourned it, Judge Simpson adjourned it 2 weeks, which is this coming Friday, for the landlord to retreat to get the escrow and apply it to her account. Because everything that Haley wants to do and Gavin want to do, they can't do until there's a zero balance. So they adjourned it for 2 weeks. That is coming up this Friday, but I don't know what the final total of the GoFundMe was. The last I looked, it was just under 28,000. So yeah, she was able to pay all of her rent. Her rent's covered for the year. It's going to be up to her what she wants to do. But hopefully that case comes to an end this Friday. We'll all be watching. Hopefully it's on YouTube this time. I don't know why Judge Simpson decided not to put it on YouTube this past time. I don't know. But yeah, speaking of that, I've been debating. I've said this a couple nights ago. I've been debating either going up to do a mini court crawl either on Friday to see the end of Haley's case or wait till Monday and go hang out with Eric Martin in Judge Slavin's courtroom. So I've been bouncing that idea back and forth in my head. I don't know which one I want to do. I don't even know if I really want to take another trip this quick. I've been up there 3 times in the last month, so not really something I really want to do, but I do want to see the end of Haley's case, and I also want to be in person with Eric Martin. So yeah, you guys let me know what you would like to see if I make the decision. The end of Haley's case or potentially meeting Eric Martin. Okay, let's keep going.
Is number 1 on the docket, Tommy Armstrong.
Judge, Mr. Armstrong is approaching in case 23-159 CF to the charge of DUI manslaughter. He'll plea. The agreed upon sentence that Mr. Armstrong has reached with the state calls for him to be adjudicated guilty of the charge. He'll be sentenced to 5 years in the Department of Corrections. That department.
No, my transporter is not broken. I will say my alternator is getting bad though. I can tell it's not starting. It's not starting well, which it'll be fine. The alternator won't do anything as I'm for the drive, but my car does have 125,000 miles on it. It's an older car now, the 2013. So try not to kill it before I can afford to buy a new one. So the trips are eating away at the car slowly, but no, it's not broken. Just I've been up there 3 times in the last month. It's 3 hours there, 3 hours back. It makes for a long day. So going on Friday and Monday, it's a lot. And also when I do that, I miss out on an entire day of court because I'm actually in the courtroom and not grabbing content. So I don't know how to explain, but I like it. It's fun, and people like to see me in court, but it's I don't know how to say it without sounding like an asshole. It's just it doesn't help me grow. How about that? It doesn't help my channel grow, which is what I've been focused on. It's just fun, and I like to do it. So I don't want to do it too much where it's just kind of boring to everyone. Hope that answered that. That was a very long-winded answer.
Correction sentence will be followed by 10 years of probation. Court costs and fines are going to be ordered at the minimum rate. Cost of supervision is at $20 per month. Restitution, if there is any, will be determined. We don't have that number right now. He has jail credit as of today for 378 days. He'll be required to submit to a DNA sample if already not on file. Department of Highway Safety Motor Vehicles may apply additional penalties to his license. Had no contact with the victim or the victim's family. We stipulate there's a factual basis for his plea, and pursuant to Florida law, Mr. Armstrong's license will be permanently revoked as a result of this charge.
All right, is this the agreement with the state?
Yes, sir.
I was trying to avoid saying that, but I mean, it's kind of true though. It hurts me for the total month when I make those trips. It really does. And I wanted to say that
Mr.
as
Armstrong, you
professionally
raise
as
your right hand.
possible. So I'm gonna shut down the trolls before the trolls can say it because that's what I was trying to say professionally. All right, this guy is just all right. The reason this clip is in here is first he kind of looks like Santa Claus. Second, when I first grabbed this clip, I didn't hear the charge when he came up, and I was listening to him, and he seemed charming, and I was just like, wow, like this guy's having fun, like he's joking, he's having everyone laugh, and then I heard the charge at the end, I'm like, oh wow, okay, wow, that changes things. But then when I went back and I put this video in, they say the charge in the first 2 seconds, and I'm like, oh, yeah, probably never would have put this video in if I heard that. Okay, it's not a long one though. Let's play it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Armstrong, would you tell me your name, your age, and your highest level of education?
Well, my name is Tommy Gene Allen Armstrong. I am 72 years old, and my address is 586 Lance Drive.
Your highest level of education? Your education level?
My what?
Your education, schooling.
Education, eighth grade.
Did you hear Mr. Hill's announcement about how you're going to resolve your case?
Yes, we talked about it, but there was a question that I was needing to ask, now I forgot what that was. That's the way my mind goes. I mean, I'm good today and I can't remember nothing tomorrow.
Okay, do you need more time to speak with Mr. Hill?
No, I guess me and him's okay.
Are you satisfied with the services?
Well, if I understand it correctly, I am. I'm sentenced to 5 years and I'm getting 2 years jail credit. So that means I only do 3 years.
No, so you've got a year of jail credit. And what I told you is with 85%, you would be required to do at least 38 more months based on the calculations.
Right, 38 months.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because you're required to do 85% of your sentence.
Yeah.
So what I told you, you got 5 years, you've got credit for 378 days, which is a month over a year. So
Right.
basically you're going in with 13 months of credit.
Right.
You take that away from your 60 months, that takes you down to 47 months.
Right.
You got to do 85% of that.
Okay.
That's what you and I talked about.
And that's a 38 months.
That's roughly 38 months.
Before we go forward, there's
Yes,
a 4-year mandatory minimum on here.
I can't
So
hear
4
you.
years would be a mandatory minimum. You won't get any gain time.
Sir,
There's a 4-year mandatory minimum, so you won't get any gain time on 4 of the 5 years.
85% of,
It's mandatory minimum day for day. So you would not get any gain time on 4 of the 5 years,
You got to do 4 years.
got to do
day
4
for
years.
day.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You understand that?
So I do 48 months.
Yes, sir.
There's a 4-year mandatory minimum. Do you understand that?
Okay. And I don't get out early or nothing.
I'm not sure what Department of Corrections, I'm going to sentence you
Okay,
according
sir.
to the law.
All
The
righty.
plea
but-
agreement is 5 years in Department of Corrections, followed by 10 years of probation. 4 of those 5 years will be a mandatory minimum. Do you understand that?
Okay, on the probation, and once I get out, I got 8 years of probation.
10 years of
10
probation.
years
10
of
years.
probation.
10 years of probation.
Okay. And I report to the probation office or,
Yes, sir.
all right.
Do you have any other questions?
I guess I'm good to go, Judge. Just,
This is what you still want to do to resolve your case? Is this what you still want to do to resolve your case?
yeah,
Okay. Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
yes, sir.
You are? What did you take?
Do it. Allopurinol, take a heart medicine and a blood thinner.
Okay. Do those medications
Yeah,
impact,
I mean, the nurse here knows what I'm taking.
those medications impact or affect your ability to
No, sir.
clearly think? You know what you're doing this morning?
Right.
Have you been prescribed any medication you have not taken?
Nope.
You understand you're waiving your right to a trial by jury?
Yes,
And you're waiving your right to appeal anything other than an illegal sentence?
yes,
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, by entering this plea, it could subject you to deportation?
yes.
Mr. Hill, Mr. Patterson, you're waiving exculpatory DNA in this case?
No, sir, Judge.
And before I announce the sentence, is there any victim that wants to be heard?
She was provided, the sister of the deceased was provided Zoom information this morning to be available. It doesn't appear that she's here.
All right, Ms. Jude, is there anyone on Zoom with us this morning?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Armstrong, I'm going to accept your plea as knowing, intelligent, and voluntarily entered into. I've reviewed the case file. I'm going to find there's a factual basis in 23 CF 159 on count 1 DUI manslaughter. You'll be sentenced to 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. 4 years will be a mandatory minimum. That'll be followed by 10 years of probation. You have court costs and fines in the amount of $2,928. And Mr. Hill, do you waive my reading of the discretionary costs and fines?
Yes, sir.
Well, Judge, you have to wait till I get out of jail before I can pay anything. I'm gonna tell
That's
you
why
that.
you're on probation.
Huh?
You pay that while you're on probation.
Okay.
I'll reserve jurisdiction to determine restitution. Your jail credit is 378 days. Do you agree with that number?
Yes, sir.
You must provide a DNA sample, and you have a permanent driver's license revocation. You have no contact with the victim's family, and you stipulate there's a factual basis. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Armstrong?
No, sir.
You got 30 days from today to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Best of luck to you.
You're done. You gotta see that.
Karen, I've been trying to figure out a way to swing that in my head, how I can potentially angle that, which that's why I might be leaning to going up on Friday. I've been, when I go there now, I get there early, and I'm generally one of the few people in the court, so I have a little bit back and forth with Miss Ann. So it would be a good time to potentially ask her, like, how would I go about doing that? So yeah, I've been trying to figure out a way because I know everyone would love that. I would love it. It would be fun. So that is on the horizon, hopefully. But I don't want to do it without the court's permission. So I'm not just gonna straight reach out to him. I want to get the court's blessing to do it. All right. Cheshire Cat. Yeah, man, good luck. Good luck. I thoughts and prayers for the little guy. I hope that everything works out. I don't know what to say. I'm not good at these situations, but yeah, I do hope for the best. And thank you for the super chat. I've been reading what you've been saying. Derval, thank you so much for becoming a new member, even though you're not really a new member, but I do appreciate it, bud. Thank you. Okay. We still have more. I think we still have 2 more clips, or maybe one long one. Judge Webster's at the end. If we go to Judge Webster, it's the last one. Oh, okay. This one. This one's only in here because I was really hoping Mayor McNome was in here because I paused because I just saw you say that. I would think it was hysterical if I got a Mr. Allen. I would absolutely find it hysterical. I would spend a day in jail to get a Mr. Allen on me and spend a day in jail for contempt. Only if it was only one day, just for the YouTube content, because it'd be hilarious. But if it was more than that, nope, not signing up for that. I don't even want to do a day. I just want to do like an hour. You know, when they just put you back in the holding cell, the holding area, and then bring you back, and then the judge yells at you, tells you not to do it again after you apologize. That's what I want. Now, I don't want to spend any time in jail though. What was I saying? Oh yeah, this defendant looks like Mayor. This defendant looks like Mayor in 10 years. Let's say that. This is definitely a gnome. I'm gonna guess they're related, but Mayor is not here, so it kind of ruins this clip. Because this clip is just kind of meh without him. Because it's hilarious if you know and if you've seen Mayor, because this is him. And I don't know when he had time to go to Reno. He's been traveling all over recently.
Mr. Demisco, I've assigned the public defender to represent you. Actually, I keep saying that. I've read the probable cause sheet and determined there's probable cause to warrant your arrest and detention, but in this case, I think you said you were going to retain counsel. Double check that, Ms. Cook, if you would. So, oh, there was no application at all. We didn't receive one, so we may have to go over it today. You scored 12 on the NPRA on these charges. Ms. Meyer, do you know the latest on the public defender? Is he requesting one or not?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, both based on the fact that Mr.
Yeah, he's out of the hospital and he's been hanging out he comes in every once in a while. So yeah, he's blowing off the heart attacks as if it was nothing. And yeah, every time he makes a joke about it, I kind of scold him for it. It's his life, and he pretends like it's not a big deal. So I'm letting him live his life. But he's out of the hospital. He's been back to work, and I think he was here last night or the night before, but he is not here tonight. But look at him. Come on, tell me that's not mayor in 10 years. Come on.
Damasio can work, but is not presently employed and has been in transit between two different locations, as well as what he shared with me about work. I would ask that we be appointed. He makes under that federal and state level, according to my assessment, but please ask him questions.
But the other issue is that the reason I thought I didn't get a PD application because these are misdemeanors. And I don't know that I don't think any of them have mandatory jail time. Ms. Phelps, is there any indication whether the state's going to be requesting or reserving the right to request jail time?
So I'm not sure, Your Honor. I do see that he's charged with a failure to register misdemeanor. He was booked on that. And so, you know, frequently I see that the state does file a jail complaint on that. But I can't say for sure.
Oh, let me go ahead, of abundance of caution. I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender to represent him on a permanent basis in this case. I'm satisfied with that. We're ready to go to a bail hearing. He scores a 12. Go ahead, Ms. Phelps.
Thank you, Your Honor. So he does score a 12 on the risk assessment. However, the state's not objecting to an owner cognizance release with DAS supervision with testing for controlled substances, no driving without a valid license. And the reason for that, Your Honor, the PC.
Yeah, I forgot. Daenerys Targaryen was the prosecutor. I completely forgot about that.
Sheet says that he was arrested only because the officer didn't think he would appear for court. However, there's no failures to appear in his recent history. And so for that reason, the state's not objecting to that owner cognizance release, DAS supervision with testing for controlled substances, no driving without a valid license.
Well, you ladies get along well. I guess you're agreeing to that, Ms. Meyer?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Makes my job easier. All right. I don't have any problem with it, certainly. I was concerned with the 12 on the MPRA, but again, the charges and the lack of severity overshadow that, just like we've had in a couple cases today. So I'll be willing to release him on those owner cognizance. He's not a danger to the community. There's no evidence of flight risk. So I think Valdez requires that I do so. This is the least restrictive means to assure his appearance in court, and I'll do it. OR you, sir, you're going to be checking with DS within 48 hours. So by Tuesday at 5 o'clock, 48 business hours, you must report to DAS and go over orientation with them. You'd have no drugs, no alcohol. You'll be on daily check-ins and supervision and testing unless ordered otherwise by DAS. And you'd have no driving of any vehicle unless you have a valid license. Do you understand these conditions, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
You willing to comply with them?
Yes, Your Honor, I will.
All right. And DAS might not require you to check in every day. They'll go over all that with you and they'll determine what your risk assessment is. All right, but I need you to check in with them by Tuesday so we know. Otherwise, a warrant goes out for your arrest if they tell us you haven't checked in with them by Tuesday.
I'll be there, Your Honor.
The jail will give you your next court date. So we'll see you then. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Court's indulgence, one moment, please.
Right, certainly.
I'm still saying, give that guy a leather jacket, a Harley, and a Diet Coke. And if he was sitting next to me on the stream, you would think it was Mayor. Or at least I could pass it off. I'll just tell you guys, hey, this is Mayor. I don't know if Mayor has tattoos. I don't remember seeing any tattoos on him, but I don't remember. All right. Let's move on. This is the final case. This is a follow-up. You guys are all going to recognize this defendant. This happened, I think, a week ago. This was last week. Again, it's the weekend. Courts are closed. I'm going through my vault, pulling out all the old cases. But I don't remember this defendant's name exactly, but you will recognize her. She started as a soft sit, then was found incompetent, then found competent. It's been a giant mess. But she was back last week and playing it tonight. Let's go.
Was she in jail, Huerta?
She shouldn't be.
We have her here at the court
Okay, there
security.
she is. She's on probation. Okay, and is her probation officer here?
I wouldn't think so, Your Honor. There's no pending motion in this matter.
Yeah, all right. I called this hearing for review. We're on the record in
Speaking of which, I cannot, I can't call him an AI bot. I can't call him AI Regier anymore. Not allowed to. I got a comment that told me that that was bullying and I should be ashamed of myself. And then they unsubscribed to my channel. So apparently calling him AI Regier is bullying, even though I never meant that as an insult. So if anyone was insulted by that, I do apologize. Did not mean to offend you. It's just, I mean, he's perfect, right? I thought it was a compliment, but I do apologize if it offended you.
2022 CR 458, State of Kansas versus Kristen Nicole Huerta. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Joshua Andrews on behalf of Ms. Huerta, who is also present.
I called this hearing because Ms. Huerta, as you all recall, was scheduled for jury trial, and we were in the process of picking the jury, which was going unusually, in my opinion, slow for a misdemeanor offense. And we adjourned for lunch, and when we came back, Ms. Huerta did enter a plea.
Yeah, she's actually in this chat right now. It's 12 strings at Twilight now. That's her. and no, I didn't. I was joking about that. I was just letting you guys know that that was a comment. It was never meant as an insult. I did want to say that, but yeah, my response was thank you for announcing your departure, and I left it at that. I wasn't bothered by it.
And I became concerned about some things the victim, her father, was saying about her drug usage. We had her probation officer do a drug test, a preliminary screen to see where she was. She told me that she's pregnant. I can't remember. Miss Huerta, how many months did you tell me you were along?
7.
You're 7 months pregnant, and you took this drug test about a month ago. I was trying to find the results of that. Mr. Regier, do you have that in front of you from the probation officer?
Your Honor, I would need the opportunity to go back through my emails, unfortunately, but I certainly can if the court wishes.
Will it take you much time?
Karen, thank you so much for the PayPal. I appreciate it. The one thing I'll say about your comment is we have heard him speak. He puts the defendants under oath, so we hear his voice a couple of times this stream. He's got a booming, deep voice. But yeah, I absolutely will try to get that interview. But thank you so much for the PayPal. I appreciate it.
I would not anticipate much time, Your Honor.
I think it's important that I get those specific numbers, and I don't have those right in front of me. I thought we entered them in the notes, but maybe not. Jen, do you know if we entered the notes or the email in the file? I'm not seeing them, but could be they're in a different location than what I'm looking at.
Are you looking for the results?
Yes.
I did not put that in the file.
Okay. And again, okay, Miss McManus, you are here. Lori McManus is here. Thank you. So, Miss McManus, you're the one that did the UA for her shortly after court. Is that right?
Your Honor, shortly after court, Sarah Wheeler completed a UA, which was positive for methamphetamine and amphetamine. The defendant also went across the street to the American Medical office, and a hair follicle was completed. And the hair follicle showed a reading.
Well, before you get to the hair follicle, so here she would have been at least 6 months pregnant. And you did a UA. And what were the results of the UA?
The defendant was positive for amphetamine and methamphetamine, and that was on 10/2/24 at 3:24 p.m.
Well, it's not just that she was positive for these substances that kind of took me aback. The cutoff scores are what, 500?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
And what were her actual scores? Now listen to this, Miss Huerta. I don't know if you're aware of it, but listen to this.
And this is the hair follicle test, though, that has the actual scores.
Is it more reliable or more accurate, or?
Both of them are accurate. Ms. Huerta, when she did the initial UA, she did admit to usage at that point in time, and that again was on October 2nd. She went across the street and did the hair follicle test, and the cutoff levels on the hair follicle test were 500, and her were 18,443. And I asked the person that completed the test what that told them, and they said that levels that high show regular usage for a longer period of time.
Cut off 500, she was, and that was for the meth, wasn't it?
That is correct.
And then what about the amphetamines? What did you learn about that?
It does not show anything. The hair follicle does not show anything for amphetamine on this one. It says methamphetamine on that, or it says methamphetamine. And just methamphetamine. 18,443 PG/mg.
Yeah, that case wasn't dismissed though. Judge Webster is doing more research on it and then letting the parties know what's going to happen. And we also don't know if that was Jay Regere's fault, that it could have just been something in the office. He is the person that took the brunt of it though, because it is at the end of the day his job to make sure that the defense has all the discovery. But yeah, that's the only time we've seen him potentially make a mistake. But he took it. He didn't throw anyone under the bus. But you did see he was a little flustered. He didn't like being in the crosshairs of Judge Webster's frustration.
Ms. McManus, that seems awfully high to me. That seems higher than I would normally expect. Yes. As a probation officer, is that higher than you normally see, even for a chronic user?
I have not completed hair follicles in quite some time, but I did confirm with the person that completed this test that it was very, very high. I completed another UA on Ms. Huerta when she came in to see me on 10/17. That UA was negative, but I had her do another one on Friday at Kelly Compliance. And that UA, the results of it should be back this afternoon. I was attempting to have her complete one last Monday, the 21st. However, her case manager was unable to locate her at that time, and we weren't able to get her in to actually get the UA completed until the 25th.
Don't we usually consider them, if they're a no-show, don't we usually consider them positive for drug use?
There was no way for me to contact her. And what had ended up happening, apparently the defendant had a male in her residence, and he has been charged, or he has previously been convicted of aggravated criminal possession, and he had battered her, so she was the victim and had left her residence. And now on the 22nd is when I was able to obtain copies of the police report from the city of Wichita. And
So that was a new domestic battery against her?
That is correct.
With her convicted felon boyfriend, October 22nd?
It's not a boyfriend. He came over to my house and never left. I'd been trying to get him to leave, and I had a friend come and escort him out, and after that he assaulted me.
Okay. So she's already violated her probation by having a relationship or strike that. Well, so here's my concern. No, this is not said. I know you've sent some emails, Mr. Andrews, concerned about the nature of this hearing. Since there is no motion to revoke probation on file, it sounds like maybe, I don't know if there's one forthcoming or not, but I was just so concerned when I heard that her numbers were 18,443 meth. And here she is, you said you're 7 weeks pregnant or 7 months pregnant?
Yes, ma'am.
You're due to have that baby 2 months if you could make it that long. And this baby's already addicted to meth that heavily, I'm presuming. So, but I am relieved. I don't know how it can be that someone that is obviously that chronic of a meth user can show up clean in, let's see, from October 2nd to October 17th. So in 14 days, she went from 18,443 to nothing, Ms. McManus?
Your Honor, that's apples and oranges. That would be a difference between a hair follicle test result and a UA result.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I was thinking that I thought we had large numbers. Thank you, Mr. Andrews, you're absolutely right. But she still went from using to not, well, okay.
Your Honor?
Yes.
When I get the results back from the UA that was completed on Friday, if those results are positive, I do plan on filing a warrant to show cause based on that information.
Yes, Ms. Huerta.
I was talking to my caseworker today about enrolling in Women's Recovery Center.
Well, that's probably a good idea. Too bad you can't enroll the baby, though. I remember something about someone saying that you couldn't take your psych meds while you were pregnant. And it's like, and then I find out you're taking meth. Oh my gosh. Well, so I just wanted to make sure Ms. Huerta knew that I was very concerned and that I will be expecting regular reports. And I want to make sure that Ms. Huerta has another chance, if she hasn't already, to talk to her attorney about, which I think I had let you off the hook, but if you were released, you're back on for a while, Mr. Andrews, or were you privately retained?
No, Your Honor, I was appointed, and I think that the way it would work is that since this is post-sentencing, if and when an actual motion is filed and Ms. Huerta is back under the court's jurisdiction, that the court would need to file a new order appointing counsel.
Well, I don't want you to be here for free today, so if I need to appoint you today, I can do that.
Because the journal entry was just submitted, we haven't wrapped up everything.
Okay.
Okay, so I just approved the journal entry. I'm expecting that everything will be wrapped up, and then it would just be a situation that since Ms. Huerta will be on probation, there wouldn't be any future hearing dates unless and until a motion to revoke probation filed, and then at that point I would be appointed.
Okay. Well, I just was afraid to just leave this until a revocation would be filed, and then I know it takes sometimes a month or two to get her in here, and I didn't want you to go all this time, Ms. Huerta, thinking that you were getting by with this, because you're not. We're gonna keep close scrutiny on you, Ms. McManus. I expect that, which I know you would do anyway. But this is so important for you, and then, of course, this child. Ms. Huerta, at your plea hearing, there was a lot of discussion about your father, the victim's wife, and that she had been appointed your guardian conservator at some point. Is she actually this woman that kept being referred to as your father's wife? I assume that was like maybe someone he had married later in life, but is that your mother?
That's my mother.
I am not asleep. I actually took an impromptu nap this afternoon. While I was compiling the video for tonight, I turned on football. So the Bengals don't play. Didn't really have any interest in watching much today. So I turned it on, and next thing I knew, it was an hour later. So I'm not asleep. I'm not asleep. But we are running to the end of this video. I do want to make sure I shout out Barry. Thank you so much, Barry, for becoming a new member. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Speaking of which, tomorrow night, Members Monday. Members Monday. All right. That's it. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I was gonna play a bonus clip. We're already pushing on to an hour and a half though. And because court's closed tomorrow, I'm gonna save it for content for tomorrow. Yeah, I'm pretty stretched. I'm stretched pretty thin right now, which is why you're watching a lot of vault clips tonight. There's gonna be vault clips tomorrow night as well for Members Monday. So I'm gonna save my bonus clip for a release in the morning. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for the super chats, the gifted memberships, the membership milestones, and the PayPal. Thank you, Karen, for the PayPal. All right, that's it. I am gonna play the rest. I'm gonna let the rest of this play out. Looks like we have about 2 minutes left. During that 2 minutes, I will look for someone to raid. It being Sunday night, there might not be anybody, but who knows? Maybe we'll go somewhere. All right, you guys have a great night. Oh, another thank you, Biggin. Thank you for the raid. I do appreciate it, bud. Always appreciate your raids. All right, now that's it. Have a safe holiday tomorrow. Don't do anything dumb. If you're gonna drink, Uber. Don't drive. Don't be dumb. I will cover you on my channel. Tell you guys that every weekend, and I think it's working because I haven't had to cover any person in the community yet. So good job. All right. Until next time. Bye.
Okay, so we've got that cleared up. Is her father, the victim in this case, present? No? Okay.
Your
All
Honor,
right.
based off of a cursory examination of the Zoom conference, it would not appear so at this time.
Okay, thank you. Well, he is entitled to notice of any hearings. I just want to make sure that we keep him in the loop. Okay, well, I'm going to just reiterate that you must go over all the conditions of your probation and you must comply with them, or you've got some significant jail time to do, Ms. Huerta. Do you understand that?
Ma'am, yes. Did you want me to stop at the office today and do another UA?
Well, that's up to your probation officer. Usually if you think you're going to have a UA, you kind of alter your lifestyle, but I think that could explain a lot of the behaviors we've seen out of you leading up to the trial, and that we did the competency evaluation and they said you were competent. Well, now it seems like there's another explanation. Is there anything further, folks? Like I said, I just called this because I wanted her to know that I'm on top of this through the help of Ms. McManus, and that it's not going to be tolerated.
Your Honor, as counsel for the defense has already observed, as well as the court, it is the state's understanding that there is not a pending request for revocation currently before this court.
Yes. Mr. Andrews?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. McManus, do you want her to stop in and see you or not?
Yes, she can.
All right, you go see Ms. McManus.
All right.
And Ms. McManus, how long before we do another hair follicle? How long do they usually wait? You just muted, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The hair follicles go back 90 days, so we would need to wait another 90 days to do another hair follicle test.
And that'll show us if the numbers are going down or up. Okay. All right, thank you. Go see your probation office, Ms. Huerta.